Hey folks, how you doing? I'm not sure what's going to happen today, so we might have to get super creative, me and Emily, and figure something out. Last week, StreamYard broke, and then we interrupted our workflow. And you know when you have a habit, and then your workflow gets interrupted from a habit, and then you miss things in the workflow when you catch up? Yeah, I missed some things on the catch up. So right now, we have posted this out on people to join the Ask Us Anything call. If you see that link, join the call. Let us know you're here. Ask us some questions if you like. I'm going to post it out on the Lifter LMS X page as well. Join us. Join us on the Ask Us Anything call. You're typing like crazy over there, Emily. What are you working on?
I have a client who's like does full site editing and SkyPilot support progressive web apps in mobile first design, and I'm like, I don't know, I've never built an app with full site editing, but it is a mobile first framework, so
it is a mobile first framework.
They should dive right in, no testing, just go for it.
Just go for it. It happened to me again today. Let me see. That you have several times to register for the webinar, but I haven't been able to register this time for this type of issue. I'm forwarding a ticket to the sales team and review and assist. In the meantime, anything else I can try? Alexander. How
are you doing, Kurt?
My apologies. Well, I'm apologizing to a customer for not getting the right link, so this StreamYard thing really threw me for a loop last week.
I feel you.
Proper. And we are in the room. Good. All right. This is one of those big examples. So, and this is probably outside the realm of, hey, Gary Alderson, he saw it. Good morning from Winnipeg, he says. Nice, Gary. Thanks for showing up, man. I screwed the pooch because StreamYard was broken last week, and it really threw me into a tailspin. So, yeah, the registration says June 12th because the what's the wrong link? That's why. It's the correct link now, but you already got the email with the wrong link, so that doesn't do me any good, does it? So that's why I put it in X and Facebook for people that are connected to us on social. They can get to the right link and get in here and ask us our questions. But something somewhat removed from a Lifter LMS conversation. StreamYard left us hanging last week. And that was a weird one, right? And there's people coming in, so people are seeing the link. That's good. And it really threw a wrench in things. And then Slack had some issues, and Google, Google Cloud Services had issues. Google Drive, Google Maps, Google AWS was down for a bit. I mean, last Thursday was kind of a cruddy day for people that work in a high volume of IT. So, Emily, I was just going to run it by you. When those things happen, does it cause you to take a pause and go, where am I building stuff? Where is stuff secure? How do I want to advise my clients to build product? Like, is that a thing for you? Or are you like, oh, bummer, it's down, I'll check it later?
Yeah, I mean, it can go either way. So, I mean, depending on the clients, like some people are, like me, are building products where I'm like, if my stuff goes down for like 6 hours, like I'm not bothered. But some people are like, we serve 10,000 school districts across the world. They're gonna have like a hernia thinking about this. Yeah. And so it's good to really take time to specify what we're going to do and how we're going to do it so that this kind of thing doesn't happen.
I very purposefully, and I think it really hit home for me during the COVID crisis. There were certain things in the social big tech spaces that weren't in alignment with some of my stuff or my customer stuff. And so that whole idea of decentralized social media just really set home with me. Slack just made a big change, right? So Slack said they're not going to support any third party APIs, blah, blah, blah. I've never really been a big Slack fan. Like I use it because people make us use it, right? And so I don't get involved in like using it and using its API and connecting it to all different things and automations. I don't do that, but other people do. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, boom, that's over. You can't do that now. And I can't help but think to myself, people get stuck in a tailspin when their workflow has to make a big shift or a big change. But if you are building a project, especially for an enterprise level client, I think that's part of the needs assessment. I think that's like a, what tools do you currently use? How important is it to you that this is your process? Are you open to hosting this inside your own website? Did you want a separate subdomain to run that? Or do you want to continue to, leverage some third party rented space to execute what you need to execute now and pray that that stays in place forever? And I think that's a valid discussion.
Yeah, definitely.
I think of the big names that like use Slack. Like I'm looking at my Slack right now, and I'm just like, every time someone gives me a new invitation to a new Slack channel, I'm like, oh God, no, not another one. Hey, at least it's not Discord. You're a Discord fan though, aren't you?
No, I mean I have a Discord, but I don't use it very much other than direct messages, and I only respond to those like once every 3 days. But
Man, that's
that's
a
the
cool.
same as my relationship with Slack. It's just
That's
I
like a what?
can't. I do text message and email. I can barely handle email. I can't be having other platforms. People trying to message me.
I do feel guilty like when I have I have multiple email addresses for different projects, and sometimes someone will email some extraneous, bizarre email address I haven't used in forever, and I feel bad. But it's like I don't. I'm not doing email forwarding of 45 emails to a single email address and looking at all that spam every day. There's just no way I'm doing it. Um, so I did find it interesting. So, um, folks, let's get back to our regularly scheduled program here. We've got a couple of things I need to put up. One is if you are watching this, there is a 55% off coupon. If you go to lifterlms.com/AMA hyphen gift, lifterlms.com/AMA hyphen gift. So again, that's good for 55% off. And then if you are here, if you're a repeat viewer or someone coming in, you already know that you can ask your questions in the chat. But if you're new, that's how we do it. If you've got a question, if you're new to Lifter LMS, go ahead and put your question in the chat so we can try and help you out there. And then last but not least, let's say you've kind of made up your mind. You're like, I think I want to try this Lifter LMS thing, but I don't know if I want to get the Universe bundle, the Infinity bundle, the Earth bundle. I don't know which is which. I don't know if I'm really going to use these tools or not. Do this. Do yourself a favor. Go to lifterlms.com/try. For $1, get 30-day access to a hosted example of a pre-populated Lifter LMS powered website. It has access to all of our add-ons within that site and some sample content. So you're able to see like, what would it look like populated? Like what's the student experience? What does the student see? What does the instructor see in the reporting? And so if you have your own website and you download the free Lifter LMS plugin and you try to figure it out, admittedly, there's a learning curve to that. And you got to try and figure out, well, what would this look like with students in it? Or what would this look like with guest instructors in it? Or what would it look like with? And that's where the trial site really shines. So if you want to do a trial site, you can check it out, lifterlms.com/try. All right. Back to comments, and we are still sitting on Gary Alderson. What are you working on that we can discuss this week, Emily?
I've been staying up like getting 4-5 hours of sleep every day. And that's because I've been working on a like a group's add-on custom development thing. So
Yeah.
that, yeah, it's like the first version is shipped, missing a couple features, but that's okay. We will finish them out. It's really a unique product. So that was a long haul.
Yeah. You and I have talked about this before, right? But I am somebody that I enjoy having a couple of big projects. Like I really enjoy project management and here's the tasks, the milestones, who's assigned to it, when it's due, blah. Like I enjoy, which I know is kind of weird, but I enjoy that bigger scope project. The thing is as an agency owner, if I stack up 4 or 5 of those at the same time, like yourself, I'll find myself getting no sleep because I'll be thinking all the time. Um, and I think that's important for people that are thinking, oh, I could make money making websites. If you want to go down the agency route, you got to consider what type of person you are. I'm the type of person, I'll be sitting there trying to watch a movie with my wife at night, hanging out in the living room, enjoying an adult beverage, and all I'm thinking about is these 4 or 5 projects, and what stage they're in, or what I'm going to do next, or why did we make that button blue? It should have been yellow like the other buttons. And that's, I'll self-admittedly, I'm going to say that's probably not the healthiest way to be, but that's kind of me in a nutshell. I'm always plugged in, always thinking about something like that. So for me, it's good to have 1 or 2 of those big projects because I really enjoy them. But then I just try and pepper myself with really a bunch of easier, more like startup things. If someone needs a quick marketing site for a towing company, I'm on it. If they need a quick marketing site or an e-commerce site for a food truck, boom, here you go. We can throw that together in a week, change out some pictures, make sure the shopping cart works. Have a nice day. Bob's your uncle. You got a website. And I really like the quick projects that have a huge impact on a startup's ability to do business. Like that's super rewarding. So I really enjoy that. And I really enjoy the big enterprise level projects that I can spread out over time. But I'm super careful to not take too many of those at once. Gary's like, I hear you, me too. So I imagine he's probably in that same boat. Delphine's moving. Delphine is packing today and preparing to move. Oh my goodness. Is she going to go to Vancouver Island? What is she going to do with all those bears and wolves and stuff? That's an inside joke for me. I think I'm the only one that gets that joke. It's from the show Alone.
I remember from Lost.
No, from the show Alone.
Oh,
Alone's where they take they take people that they're like, I'm a survivalist and I don't need anything. So you get like 5 things. You can take like a knife, an axe, a poncho, a tent. One guy took a tent. Most people build a shelter. I don't think I would take a tent. I don't know, but you can only take a limited amount of things, and then they drop you off on Vancouver Island. And whoever out of like the 5 or 7 people, whoever can stay there the longest by themselves with no outside help wins $100,000. So I'm pretty fat. I could stay out there for a while without eating.
Yeah.
I got a lot of reserves to burn off, bro.
You got the pregame.
Boom. I got the pregame on. So there was a dude that did it. He was like from Alaska, and he lost something like 100 pounds. They come out and they weigh you like every month or so. They come out and they weigh you and they check your health. And if you don't pass the health checkup, you get pulled from the show because they don't want someone dying there. But something always happens. Somebody eats something they shouldn't have eaten because they eat pretty disgusting things. They get hungry and they just start finding like stuff in the mud and trying to eat it. It's a crazy show. What are you doing with your thing? Is that an iPad?
Yeah. It's I switched to my iPhone and it's lagging, so.
And it's using AI to track you around?
Maybe. Yeah.
I have a customer that I meet with that has an iPad. I don't know if it's an iPad Pro or what, but when they use the webcam feature, they can like get up and walk around the room or do whatever, and the thing follows them around.
Yes, I can turn that on. It's called Center Stage. It's really annoying. So like go over here, it falls.
Yeah, and it's really fuzzy too. You were crystal clear before, but now it's fuzzy.
Turn off portrait. Let's see. Yeah. It's terrible. Is it lagging for you?
Is it what?
Is it like lagging, like jumping the image?
Oh yeah, it's horrible. It's fuzzy. It's jumpy. You were crystal clear before.
Let's try portrait.
It's still jumpy.
That sucks. We might just go back to the desktop camera, the
Well,
face up view.
It's artistic. I'll give you that much. It's artistic. Gary Alderson says bear food. Yeah, there was one episode where they did like father and son teams, and father and son, and they split them up. Like they dropped them off in different areas, and then they had to hike and find each other. And so, it was crazy. But the one kid was like, I'm going to be able to live out here forever. I don't, I'm going to love it. I love the outdoors. I'm not afraid of bears, blah, blah, blah. And they dropped him off. And the first night there was like a bear and a wolf or something walking through his camp. And he called because they give everybody a mobile phone. And he's like, I'm out of here. I can't do it. I was like, well, that didn't last long. All right. Delphine says, good morning from Barrett, British Columbia. Couldn't sign in this week. Had to join on YouTube. Yeah, we had a StreamYard issue last week, and I did a really bad job of overcoming my obstacles. Delphine, I apologize for that. But it is interesting. I mean, we've got a ton of people in here live now. I'm wondering if remember when we went to WordCamp, was it in Maryland? And we met that person that said, I turn you guys in the background all the time. You guys are entertaining as heck. I love listening to you guys. And I thought that was one of the most bizarre things to ever hear. I didn't think we were that entertaining.
Yeah. It takes a special crowd.
So it happened to me again. and I'm just gonna there's some things in Lifter LMS that somebody didn't like, and it's stuff that we've looked at before, right? Like, so extra profile information for the author box and about yourself section showing up in the WordPress user profiles, and they wanted to remove some of those things from the user profiles. They just don't want that stuff. For some reason, they don't want that stuff in the back end in the user profiles. And so instead of saying, can you code that out? Can you use some custom CSS? Can you adjust the PHP file, like whatever? Instead of asking us that, I track down where the extra profile information for this stuff is. It looks like they're being added through the Lifter LMS plugin, specifically in blah, blah, blah. Rather than editing files, I've put together a simple plugin that hides those fields. Can you test this plugin and activate this plugin? That really freaks me out. This is happening on a weekly basis now, which makes me wonder, is it viable? And I kind of really want to hear what your feedback is on this, Emily. They obviously didn't hire a developer to make them a custom plugin, right? They ran off to ChatGPT or Claude or something, and they said, make me this. And then they send it to us and say, install this thing. And now because we've already turned it down before, so now this time it says, can you test it on a staging site and then put it on the site? Is that something you'd be comfortable doing? Or would you say, as one of our services, we'll have our tech team go through the code and make sure it's not full of malware, and then we'll try to implement it for you? But you're looking at 7 hours of test and edit time. I mean, just because you whipped it up in AI doesn't mean somebody with the skills can go through it as quickly as AI wrote it.
Yeah. I frequently spend hours on Zoom reviewing code live with clients. Or like this big project, I've just been staying up all night. But either way they want to do it, I don't accept liability for anything. So like I don't have like my clients who are hosted on my server to be like, hey, let's let's spin something up with AI, let's throw it in there. But I'm like, if it's your server and you came up with this and you like understand the consequences of like how much damage you could do with this, I'm just like, whatever. Like let's burn this motherfucker down. Like
Burn it to
let's
the
do it.
ground.
Burn it to the ground. Like I am like, I don't know if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, but we can review the code and make sure it's good. It just takes some like a lot of work to read through all the files and be like, oh, okay, you know, we're handling storing things in the database incorrectly. We're pouring things into the WP options table. So like that's not going to get deleted when the plugin gets deleted. Like you you know, like all this stuff that every single page in your website is going to load this. And it's got a bunch of nonsense that AI has decided to put in the WP options table because it doesn't know. I don't know, and it does hallucinate functions a lot. So if you're trying to integrate stuff with Lifter LMS, it just makes up like names of functions, and so um, you know, you got to be super clear about it, super strategic. I definitely think every good developer leverages AI to help with the coding process. I just think that if you code with AI blind, you're in for a roller coaster.
Well, to me, it's like, and I'm just speaking out of like my own opinion. It's this isn't really justified. I mean, I've read some articles about the percentage of hallucinations and the percentage of malware through hallucinations, and I could give you facts all day long with the research I've done, which is constantly changing anyway, right? Because it constantly progresses. But the way I look at this, I think to myself, as someone that's published a couple of books and someone that's done a lot of corporate publishing for like Suzuki and Ducati and things like that, writing the content in a lot of cases is not the hard job. It just simply isn't. I used to write and produce content voraciously when I worked in the motorcycle industry, but I had some poor sucker on my team whose job it was to edit and format my stuff so that it could go to print. You know, and then, you know, it was for corporate printing, right? So it's not like it's not a byline for Kurt Von Onen, right? It's a byline for Suzuki or a byline for Ducati. But I made a lot of this content, and I could write it probably in 20% the time that it took my, you know, Adobe Illustrator Pro to edit it, format it, and set it for print, right? And so I guess what I'm saying is if I spend an hour writing something, I would expect 4 or 5 hours in post edit. It's kind of similar to a lot of video editing. If I wanted to record something on StreamYard or Zoom, and I just wanted to say, okay, take the recording, slap it into AI, cut it into 5 clips, and then put those clips into social media, you can do that. You can get away with it. But if you are an enterprise organization and you're looking for, you know, something that's going to become the commercial to your company, you're going to have a real editor go through that raw content and make it. So typically it's what, 6 or 7 times the recording time to go through the edit process and make something that's really good. So
Yeah.
so I'm kind of on the fence with a lot of these requests for AI. Sometimes it'll be someone that I subcontract for. So it's not even me making the decision. I just say, this is what I would do if I were you. If this were my company and I were the boss, this is what I would do with this request. But the stuff that comes directly through Mañana No Mas, to your point, if they're on our servers and they're sharing space with other clients of mine, I'm not putting some homemade AI junk in their website. I just don't want to be responsible for anything.
Yeah. No, I totally feel that. Yeah, most of yes, I think all my clients who I host, I just get them set up with WP Engine, and then we have a maintenance contract. So yeah, like they're on WP Engine. So if they, I just got to make them very aware that like the hourly rate is this. I know we're on a month-to-month retainer, but just so you're aware, this is the hourly rate as a reminder, because we usually don't ever go into that time. And yeah, you know, we might need to spend hours fixing this. So
Yeah.
would let them do it. I just think a lot of my month-to-month clients are on the basis that like they don't really pay any invoices outside of that monthly rate because we don't use that time. But with AI, we can make it happen. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's good though. It does. It's performed miracles for some of my clients who are trying to do simple functions, and they're willing to code a product that is dubiously secure, um, within 3-4 hours. Like we can kind of whip it out, be like, what are our features? What are we tapping into in Lifter LMS as far as code and database and everything? Um,
That is a great name for a plugin company.
Dubiously secure.
Dubiously secure.
Yeah.
Dubiously secure plugin development.
Right. And it says like AI powered. Yeah.
Pretty crazy stuff. Well, we've got some questions rolling in now, which is great. So it means that people were able to find the right link and get here. Kate says anyone that's not afraid of bears has never seen one in real life. Kate, I'm going to tell you something that really ticks me off. I love animals. Emily will tell you, I love animals. I do. I love animals. Like I volunteer at places like, oh, I get to hold the snake. Awesome. I'll hold the snake. I just love that stuff. I never get to see the cool stuff. I can remember when my wife and I were dating, I was strafing the mountains of Colorado on a Yamaha R1, having the time of my life. And we got down to the bottom of the hill, going through some twisties. And my wife says, oh, did you see that mama bear with her cub right next to the lake? And I was like, no, I have not. I went mountain biking in Whistler in 2016. So there I am mountain biking in Whistler, and I'm trying to survive because it was my first time really mountain biking real mountain stuff. And so I was on one of those rentals. I was riding a Santa Cruz V10 for anyone that's interested. And I was just having a blast. And when I got to the bottom of the hill, the buddy that I'm with says, hey, look at this picture I took. This bear was walking across the path. I always miss it. I used to live in Northern California, and I saw the tail, just the tail of a mountain lion. But my neighbor saw the mountain lion on my roof looking at a family of deer. So I never get to see the cool stuff in real life. So I'm too stupid to be really afraid of them because I've never seen them. I always seem to miss it. But Kate's got a real question. Kate says, how do you go about getting a staging site set up? I do not want to test my own plugin. I just want to test before I update the legit plugins I have, plus one I want to install, Grassblade. Perfect. Grassblade is worth testing on staging before you do that. And one piece of advice I do want to give you, Kate, is Grassblade is very specific about what it considers a staging website. So you want to go back to Grassblade, right, which is Next Solutions, whatever, blah, 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 that website. Go back to the Grassblade website, do the quick search in Grassblade for staging site, and make sure that you fully comprehend what they're saying are the requirements for a staging site. You may need to contact them and give them the URL to your staging site because different hosts carry the staging sites in different ways. And that kind of answered the question without answering it. How do you go about getting a staging site set up? It depends on your host. So I have used a ton of different hosts, different companies. If you're like on Cloudways, you can literally just go to the main menu inside your admin thing. There's a thing that says staging. You click on staging. It says, do you want to copy this website as a staging site? You say yes, boom, and it does it. Automatically, Bob's your uncle, you got a staging site. 20i, same way. If you're in 20i and you click to manage your hosting package, it's going to come up with the website that you're hosting. And at the top where it says WordPress install, there's an option for staging. You simply click that staging option. The next window is going to say, do you want to create this as a staging site? You say yes. Boom. Once again, Bob's your uncle, you got a staging site. Some hosts are a little more hands-on, where you'll need to actually contact them or start a support ticket that says, hey, I want a staging site for this website, and they'll create that staging site and send you the link and the credentials for it. The credentials to access the staging site, this should come as no surprise. They should be the same as your existing website. So whatever your admin credentials are for your .com, .info, .org site, it would be the same credentials for your staging site. Typically, they're going to have like a subdomain. It's going to say like staging.abc123.com, right? Or some variation thereof. 20i uses a thing called stack staging. So it'll be the name of the website.com. It'll be the name of the website without the dot. It'll be the name of the website com-stackstaging.com or something like that. But yeah, you just go through your host, get them to set up a staging site. And then what I love about staging is you can break anything you want. If you mess it up, you can delete it and start over. And then you can test things. And if once you test it in your staging site, you can move it to production and duplicate whatever work you did. So that's awesome. So that's it in a nutshell on that one. Roberto Candelario. He says, hi, we are building a website for medical certifications. Let's put a ding, ding, ding. Let's stick a pin in that one right there. As a accredited medical school, we want to provide our students a certification that will include their occupational code. Okay, boom, we got a way to do that. When our students enroll, they should be able to choose their occupational code on the enrollment form. Once they completed their course, that occupational code should show on their certification. Is this possible with Lifter LMS? Yes, we have shown this. Oh my gosh, Emily, how many times have we shown this particular request on the Ask Us Anything call? I bet you it's at least 8 times. So there's a thing in Lifter LMS. It's one of our premium add-ons. It's called Lifter Custom Fields. You activate the Custom Fields add-on, right, with Lifter LMS, and it enables you to add custom fields or completely custom forms to your Lifter LMS enrollment, billing, things like that. So once those custom fields are added to the enrollment form, they become automatically added to the user profile in WordPress. And they can all be created with their own short code. And so basically, I'm making it sound easier than it is, but it's really not hard. You take the short code from that custom field when you put it on the form, and you move that short code to the certificate. And so you add a block to the certificate for short code, you embed that short code, and then that short code is going to print with their name and the name of their course and the other stuff, the date issued, stuff like that on the certificate for you. So all of that is very, very doable. At the very beginning of your question, I said, boom, website for medical certifications. Whenever someone mentions medical, dental, anything like that, I always bring it up. You probably already know this, but I always bring it up for other people that are listening. You may need HIPAA certification for your website. That's kind of a big deal. It's a special type of hosting, special certified hosting environment. You have to follow all the HIPAA rules and regulations. You create the website, you create the learning, you create all of that stuff, and then you have to submit the website so that it can be approved and used in the medical field. And then any substantial changes you make to the website have to be approved through the HIPAA organization before you can send those changes to production. So I just wanted to make sure that I covered that. And I'm not a HIPAA expert. I want to stress, like if you take a recording of this and you go, oh, this is what Kurt said, I'm just going to execute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there, we're done. I want to put the disclaimer here. I am not a HIPAA expert. I have worked with HIPAA sites before. And I usually bring in somebody that is more experienced than myself in dealing with the HIPAA side of it. And it does add a little bit of expense to the whole process. Our friend Gabriel's on the call. Did you see Gabriel was in the comments?
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you take this one?
It seems like whenever we talk about AI, Gabriel pops in.
I'm thinking he has an AI notification system.
Clients tossing AI sites is pretty profitable in terms of billable time to clean. Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
I think, yeah, it's so Gabriel, I'm curious because you're kind of in a similar space to us a little bit. Do you propose like, hey, thanks for sending this code over to me. We're probably going to need 6 or 7 hours to clean this up and a couple of hours to test it in staging, and then we'll move it to production. So you're looking at about 10 hours, about $1,500. Like saying if your agency rate was $150, you would say, oh, so you're looking around $1,500 for us to test and approve this for you. Or would your model be more like, hey, you invented this crud. I have no idea what's in it. I don't know what pathways we're going to go down. Our agency rate is $150, and if you tell us to, we can start the stopwatch, and we'll let you know when we're done. Like, what do you think is, I shouldn't say the most professional, but what do you think is your preferred way of tackling that issue? That'd be cool if you could jump in there and give us a little feedback on that.
Yeah.
Kate says, you want to stay far away from mama bear with cubs. I know, but I was on a motorcycle. I could have stopped. I could have taken a picture, could have done something. Host is Tangible XP.
Gabriel in chat owns that.
Gabriel, Kate needs a staging site. y'all need to talk. And he put the link right in here for us, right? So, Kate, I don't know how much luckier you could get. Maybe Gabriel's got some kind of AI notification thing, like hey, someone's talking about you on the internet. You should sign into this live call. But go to docs.tangiblexp.com/tools/staging/# create a staging environment. So yeah, Kate, I'm going to leave that up on the window for you for a little bit in case you're trying to type that into a neighboring tab or window or something like that. So Gabriel, thanks for coming in, man. Perfect timing. Can't post comments to certain destinations. Well, look at that. We are right along on the StreamYard train. I recently canceled my StreamYard Pro. Emily, I got the invoice for it, like without a warning. It was like, hey, today's the day we're going to charge you $826. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to pay $826 this year. Have I gotten $826 return on investment from using StreamYard for the last year? I'm like, I don't think so. So, Kate, you're very welcome. You are very welcome. I'm glad that worked out for you. Roberto says, yes, we are HIPAA certified. So I guess that long rant that I had was really for people that watch the replay. And then let's take a look at Zach. Zach says it's really more about encryption at rest and physical data security. Zach, are we talking about making custom plugins? I think that's what we're talking about. What do you think, Emily?
Probably AI. All right, yeah. Like that's about like how AI encrypts things, and the security of the data. I think it's good at sanitizing URLs and making sure paths aren't accessed directly, but it's not like HIPAA. There you go.
Ah, there we go. Yeah. And Gabriel's on top of it too. I think Zach is talking about HIPAA. All right. Gabriel gave us some feedback. Takes up all the screen, so let's get ready for it. Our philosophy is that clients own their websites and we don't stop them from doing silly things. Ding, ding. But like you mentioned earlier, we do warn them about the potential downsides. It's usually not useful to take their AI output and try to clean it up, because we can usually just come up with a better approach altogether, even if we wind up using AI to get there. Usually people don't have a good mental model of how to approach it and go in the wrong direction altogether. Well, I can't agree more. Gabriel, so many times, these situations, and like I said, it's on a weekly basis now. Especially, I do a lot of these entrepreneur meetups here in town. And, someone will say, oh, you're the web guy? Oh, I was playing around in AI and I had this cool idea for a mobile app. And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, no, I'm not interested. I don't want to play that game. But it's, when people don't have a background in something and they go to AI for a quick, easy button answer. To your point, they usually go at it from the wrong perspective, the wrong ideation. And so, like my closest comparison to this, right, would be people that are new to marketing. They can be brilliant course creators. They can be brilliant people, but for some reason, marketing is a foreign language. They don't understand like product market fit or addressing a pain point. Like they think they can say, "I made this super cool thing. You definitely want it." But unfortunately, super cool things and you definitely want it don't equal swiping credit cards. People want to know like what pain point is this going to fix for me? What return on investment does this really bring, and why do I need it? Like where, and I think the reason that some marketing people are so valuable is because they have a trained and developed eye or ear for, yeah, that's product market fit. Like there's demand, there's active demand. We can address the pain points and we can market this product. That's why, like, when I listen to these really, really strange things, um, I did a show the other day, and ever since I did this show, I blurted out something about what I consider grifters in the education space, and now I'm getting tons and tons and tons of ads just all over my phone and social. And one of them was like this Passion IO thing, and it said, if you're not making $50,000 a week, you're wasting your time. You don't need a website, you don't need a course, you don't need a webinar, you don't need an email list. People don't even use computers anymore. Heck, you're looking at this on an app. You need a custom mobile application. And my mind exploded because I was like, well, from a marketing perspective, even if I had a custom application, where does the instant 10,000 users come from? Where does the audience come from? And you're telling me I can make this money with an app, but you haven't even asked me yet what my content's going to be. Like, am I a coach? Am I a music teacher? Am I a construction guy? That I'm tired of doing construction. My back hurts. I just need a mobile app. I want to be a millionaire. Like, I don't understand how these companies are making these wild claims. And then right after that, some dude ended up on a live on my Instagram, and he was saying, if you're not making $100,000 a month, you don't have a business. And this is how you do it. You don't need websites. You don't need courses. You don't need webinars. You just need to come to his free workshop, and he'll tell you the secret there. Hey, here comes Adam. Adam says hi. Okay. And Zach says, I built and launched my product with Lovable. Let me know how that scales. Okay. Oh my goodness. What do you think we're going to cover in the office hours call that we do in an hour?
I don't know. What will we cover? We can talk about AI once again. We could I don't know. What have we talked about so far? We talked about marketing. We've talked about a lot of things with marketing, coding practices. We could talk about maybe top 3 recommended like tools, and everyone in the room can be like, these are the 3 tools that I use for my business, other than WordPress, because obviously you're there using WordPress.
Yeah.
And Lifter. So maybe something else, and then people will like propagate like, oh, I didn't know. I mean, Canva's pretty much a shoe-in for me. And like getting a feel for like, I mean, everyone's using AI, so like what kind of AI tools are you using? We've talked about that before too, but
Yeah. I'm surprised how much I use Grok.
Yeah.
I think because it's in my X window and I can just click on it, and I think the output's pretty legit. Like for what I do with it. Make me an image of this. Boom, there's an image. Here's 4 of them. Pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if we talk about like, that's one option. What are like the top tools you use? And what are they used for? And what else could we talk about? We talk about sales conversions of like how to optimize sales pages to get people to take click-through actions, how to measure click-through actions. Like we've talked about marketing strategies, but it's like, how are we actually monitoring traffic to pages? Are we using tools for that? And are we tracking things like conversion rates? Because I'm sure a lot of people in there aren't doing that. And a lot of them do client services and might be doing it in different ways. Like, are we doing tracking for conversions from page to page?
I literally have a client, and I'm not going to say she's distraught. That's not the right way to describe somebody. But she confided in me that she has spent like $8,000 in marketing with a marketing company with some go high level campaign or something. And she's like, there are zero sales to show for this $8,000, you know? And they're like, oh, look at all these visitors we brought to your website. Okay, none of these visitors converted. So where did you find, like, how did you sort these people? Did you use keywords? Did you use, a list segmentation from some list you bought? Did you, like, where did this come from? And so I peppered her with some questions, and I think she peppered them with repeating those questions, but never really got any answers. It was like, no, we just brought you all these impressions. But it's like, so many times I hear from marketing people, like, I'm going to bring you these it's like in LinkedIn. My direct messaging in LinkedIn is full of, I can get you 15 meetings a month. I don't want 15 more meetings a month. I don't. Like, I don't want to just talk to people for the sake of talking to people and have them book a meeting. I do that on my own with people that I find, potentially interesting. But I don't want some third party hooking me up with 15 meetings with strangers every month that have no qualifications to talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a weird thing, And so, I don't know, there's a lot of weird marketing things out there. Did you see the comment come in from Kate?
We set up, with Emily's help, a site section for downloadable resources. Is there a way to group them together by topic? Could we perhaps replicate a single resource post with Kadence for each topic that includes multiple resources? So I remember we set up resources. They're static. There's blog posts, and so is there a way to group these together by topic? I would imagine we're talking about grouping resource posts by topic, and so we could do that by category since we're using blog posts. Blog posts support categories, and then a single resource. Or are we talking about, like, within a blog post we have a bunch of topics and we're trying to sort those? But otherwise we could treat a category as a topic. I would probably, for your site, not go down the rabbit hole of creating a custom taxonomy for blog posts. You could create your own taxonomy called topic and then apply them and then display blog posts by topic. But I would probably recommend just using categories in blog posts. And then there's a posts block. I think we use Kadence blocks on your website or Spectra, either one. You can display posts in a kind of cool predetermined card format where you can have like 3 columns and each one has like a little picture and a title, and it's like a little card box for each post. I could show this too. If you want to see a demo of it, I could show that too. But yeah, we could talk about that, but put them in categories, have multiple blocks that display from different categories on one archive page. So you'd have like 3 categories, you'd have 3 post blocks, and each 3 of the blocks has their own category they're displaying. That's how I'd do it. If you want a demo, we could do that.
Yeah, that'd be groovy. We've got like 8 minutes left.
Yes. I will summon more light.
I will summon more light.
There we go. So let's see. My Lifter site. I can log in and share my screen. Okay. So that's coming up in the background. I have have a cat slowly encroaching on my space. I wish I could have got my continuity camera working more, had more cat cam time. Use the
Cat cam
operating
time.
system setting. There we go. So this is it. This is my demo site. And so what we're going to do is create a resources page. This is probably similar to what you have going on. Publish that. We're going to go to posts, categories, because we're using blog posts and categories. We're going to create, oh, I have 3 categories. This post is 1, 2. So let's use technology, insurance, and business. So how you add posts to categories once they're created here is you can quick edit, select their categories from this little scroller, or when you're editing the post, over on the right hand side, over here, post, there's categories again. So you need to check the boxes, add them to the categories. Once they're added, we can set it up. So we said insurance, retirement, technology. So we're going to use, I think I need blocks on my site.
For companies or organizations with a ton of resources, like a library worth of resources, I've used a tool called Better Docs, but that's like setting up almost like a knowledge base. That's like a different use case.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do like different post types and stuff too. That's fair. Oh, I said save, saving. This is supposed to be saving. There we go.
Looks like Gabriel used a similar thing, Algolia-powered resource libraries. I've never heard of Algolia-powered resource libraries. Might be the same thing as like a Better Docs.
So it's kind of scrunkly. What if we drop to 2 columns? I might need to mess with the spacing. The font sizes on this website are massive. Algolia. I've never heard of that one. Can we change the excerpt to just not display? That would be convenient. There we go. Content settings, excerpt, no thank you. Something like that. That'll make it easier. And then we'll just duplicate what we have. We have a post block, let's duplicate it. We have a heading block, let's duplicate it. And then move that down there. This is our next category, which is technology. Technology. And so there's a few different ways that you can do it from here. If you don't want people to have to scroll vertically like this, you could get fancy and build a tabs block and be like, I'm going to have not a table. That's wrong. That's incorrect. If you do it in a table, you're not going to have a good time with that. Okay, so let's do a tabs block. Open my tabs block. I have 3 tabs. Let's slice one of these off. Can I not erase this? Okay. So we have saving resources. We have technology resources. And then what we can do is be like, we're going to drop that in tab 1. We're going to drop this in tab 1. The heading goes on top. We're going to drop this in tab 2. And then this also in tab 2. Save that. So now we have like a little toggle. Switch back.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Yes. A few different ways to do it. And you can spend more time, format it however you want. Stuff like that.
Nice. Delphine had put a question in, but we're so close to the end of time, I don't think we'd have enough time to actually cover it. But maybe we can do that next week. And I did refer to a piece I just made this week on, I've been using AI to improve my local searchability through search engines. And what's funny is there's a bunch of people saying that SEO is dead, right? SEO is dead. Everyone's going to AI search. And then you ask AI search, how did you find me for this listing? And their number one resource is search results. So I'm like, well, SEO is certainly not dead then. So would you mind talking about strategies to increase through search engines such as Google and Bing The resource that I sent, that I put in the comment section, Delphine, is like over the last 6 months, every couple of weeks, I've just been asking AI, like, hey, if I had a local business and I wanted to get a website made, who would you recommend? And I don't tell it that, my company's Manana no Mas, right? I want to see what it answers me. And newsflash, it hasn't answered Manana no Mas yet, right? So I'm not a genius. I'm working my way through this. And so it says, well, try this company or this company. And then I say, well, how about Manana no Mas? How come you didn't recommend Manana no Mas? And then AI is nice enough to tell me exactly why it thinks I'm not good enough. But that gives me a list of things to work with. Then I tell it that, hey, I'm actually the owner of Manana no Mas, and I'm doing this as an experiment to see how I can improve my searchability through AI. And then it gives me a ton of more resources that I can look at. And so originally it was things like, um, change your tagline on Facebook, change your tagline on LinkedIn, change your tagline on TikTok, change like obvious things, and then change the About Me section to represent your hometown in these 3 resources. And it gave me those kinds of things. Well, now that I'm getting kind of like, I don't want to say near the end because I don't think this ever does end. I think it keeps going forever and ever. But now that I'm getting closer to results, it's giving me information like, this was the phrase we looked for to make the recommendation. And it said, I live in Hutchinson, Kansas. So it said, Hutchinson web designer. Well, guess what? My whole website is optimized for developer, not designer. And so it's interesting to me that 3 months ago, it was looking for developer, and now it's looking for designer to make that recommendation. So now I need to go through my website and I need to swap out a few developers for a few designers, right? If that makes sense. And then give it a little bit of time for that to propagate and then retest and see how it goes. But that's how I've been attacking it. And there's all kinds of different tools and different things out there to help. But I have found one of the fastest ways to get some grassroots, like, what are some simple changes I can do now to help my visibility, is just ask AI. Like, if you were a bicycle shop, you would say, hey, I'm looking for a local bicycle shop. Who could you recommend? And you don't tell it you're the bicycle shop, right? You just say, who's it going to recommend? And then kind of ask it some questions and see what you could do to make things better as you go. Um, here we go. This is probably a more official, better answer, and we'll end with this today. It says, we don't do marketing SEO officially. We're the same in that, Gabriel. But I have consistently seen huge ranking boosts when we rebuild sites, just because we focus on the best practices when it comes to front end markup. Most sites are super messy on that front, even if they look great and have great content, and the difference it makes is shocking. I agree 100%. Sometimes I will take over a website and the page speed just seems off. And then I do a page speed report on it, and it's got a 29. And you go, whoa, something's wrong. Like, the website looks fine, but something's wrong. And then you start looking for things. Oh, it's got outdated plugins. It's got 3 cache tools in it. It's got, you go, we really got to clean this up. We got to clean this up before we can really make any strides on anything. And to Gabriel's point, it says sometimes you got to just rebuild the website. It says no visible change at all, just removing page builder spaghetti and using semantic tags. Often comes down to following accessibility guidelines, which is a nice bonus. Accessibility is a giant, giant keyword, Gabriel. Folks, that's going to wrap us up for today. We will be back on our normal workflow for StreamYard. So we had some good turnout today. I was kind of surprised at how well today's call went. I was actually dreading it because I dropped the ball last week, but I was glad to see everybody here. The replay will be on Facebook periodically, and we will see you next week.